Moving on to the battery bay power sort of side of things. We've got the 3D print this little bracket, which will sit down here, which will let us connect to the sides of the battery sides of the board. There's a slanted side and a flat side. Flat side goes towards the battery bay, and then the curved side matches the curves of there. And there's a smaller part up the top and a larger part down here, and this is where you stick in your male 90-degree header. Just stick it all the way to the left hand side, and then we're going to glue it into the battery bay. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of glue along the side, just a bit of super glue just on there, and then stick it in this orientation. Let's get a pair of tweezers. You want to push it all the way down, make sure it's in. Just like that. As you can see, is that in? Yep, just like that, and then we'll let that glue dry and then come back and wire it in. Once the glue is dried for your 3D printed part in, we need to sort out the battery compartment. We're going to take out this, which is the old spring and dome part. You just there's a little clip, just knock that up, it'll slide straight out. What we need to do is put in 2 springs and 2 domey parts. So with the springs, you can just put them in. There is like a little on the edge of here. There is like a little tab. You can kind of bend that back a little bit because it's a bit too harsh to get in, but you want to kind of put them in. It's easy enough to get this one in this side because it'll just slot straight in. But this other side, you kind of have to compress the spring and kind of push it back, push it past through. Get a pair of tweezers or something just to compress it and then put it through. So once they're in place, we need to get a bit of solid core wire to solder them both together so that they're both joined, kind of like this, so they're both making contact with each other. Just want to get them in position, kind of move them around so you're happy with them. Kind of want them evenly spaced around about, so that when the batteries are in there, they're going to make good contact. Because you don't want them jumping out whilst you're playing. So we'll start soldering one side, put a little bit of solder on it, pre-tin your solid core wire as well. It doesn't matter about the length at the moment, we'll just solder this first one in. That's it, that's in place. Now we'll just move it about. And then get this other one kind of where you want to go, because this will hold everything. It should hold them where they're in their final position now. Once it's in place, have a look, see where it's at, and then we can just give it a little clip. And then we're going to solder it across with the solid core wire onto the bottom of this part of the pin. We're just going to have a look here which side it needs to be. It needs to be the closest pin there. So what we'll do is we'll tin this end again. And we'll also try and tin this. This is why I have my angled soldering iron tip, so you can just get in there. Just to really tin this. Tin the other side as well whilst we're at it. Should have tinned this before putting it in, really. Maybe you should. So they're both tinned. Oh, there's a bit there. So we get the solid core wire. Dip it down there. I like using solid core because it just stays where it is and it kind of adds a bit of structural. And then we'll just solder that onto there as well. Just keep everything in place. It might come off, but don't worry. There it is. Let's clip that back. That's the negative done. Now we just need to do the other side, the positive. Same again, really, just put these in. These in this way though, from the top rather than from the bottom. Same again, tin the tops, pre-tin your solid core. You can always guesstimate and then just, or you can just tin the whole thing really. Do one side. Put that into position. And just bend this. That's the reason I kind of keep this long as well, so that it will absorb most of the heat. Otherwise this end will just have popped off by now. Same again, just grip it. So that side's done. And now what I'm going to do is I've got some cable out of a HDMI, old HDMI cable. Tin the end, clip it, and you want to push this up through the bottom. So that will solder it on here. Just through the middle, so keep it nice and neat. So it's soldered in, that's not actually soldered in place. Need some more solder here. Let's put a big blob on. Nice in the middle. Let's get your tweezers. Ow, now that is soldered on. I'm going to pull it through the side, and then what we're going to do is roughly measure it, cut it, solder it, and then we're going to super glue, just a little dab of glue just to keep it in place, and then that's all the wiring done really. So we'll just get this, we'll roughly measure it, slightly longer than we need. I'm not sure how long this length is, but it's not too long. And then just pre-tin that. Use the tweezers again just to get right down into there. As long as it doesn't matter where it is, as long as it's out the way of where this other, the female header's going to get it. It should be okay. Like so. Just kind of clip it like that, and we'll just get a little bit of glue. Just a little pound shop super glue. Just put a little blob.